There's a lot of complexity in this series, from the performances to the subject matter, the production design, even the old age makeup. Was there a moment where you felt like really challenged and were especially proud of a particular scene?
Great question. I would say, I do remember, and I've spoken about it, is there was a moment when we found ourselves filming the 70s episode. Mm-hmm. We filmed it within 5 days, so Monday to Friday. Mm-hmm. And I did step outside, and I just was in the break, and I just looked at Ron, who's our amazing showrunner, who was there every step of the way. And I just said, I don't know if I'm stitching this together properly. And he sort of generously said, you don't need to worry about that. That's my job. There were moments of doubt, but then there were real moments, I think, that we instinctively, me and Matt, I think, felt that we knew that they were cornerstones in this sort of beautiful, volatile, and really complex love story. And so when we felt that we'd got those, everything else was sort of just the rest of the space was filled out, I think.
Yeah. It's so daunting to think about playing a character over the course of 4 decades and having to span that amount of time in someone's life, and you're doing all the typical actor things and studying people that age, and it's particularly challenging when it's all through kind of middle age. You can't affect a limp and a hunch or anything like that. So, but then it's moments like that where you really rely on the incredible creatives we had on the show. A brilliant hair department, brilliant makeup department, costumes, the production design, where all of a sudden you saw yourself in the mirror and you had a renewed sense of, okay, I can give this a go.
The scene that really stands out for me, actually, of all the intimate scenes, is the one where you're slow dancing in the nude, because it's so oddly sweet at the same time.
Oh, I think that was probably the most profoundly intimate love scene that there was, because it was what it was. It was naked and face to face and connected and intimate and sweet, and there was a comfortability that you can't fake between the characters. It's earned at that point in their relationship, and
they're like otters at that moment, just linked, sort of floating around their pond. But also, what's amazing about Tim and Hawk is that comes off the back of an extraordinary exploration of power dynamic before then, and so they have to fight. These gay men have to fight through the brutalities and the nuances and complexities of power to be able to reach those moments where they can be completely authentic together. I'm glad you picked that out, because that for me felt a really special moment to film. But also in that moment, I do remember going, God, me and Matt have come so far to be able to do this. And for it to feel as relaxed and as kind. It felt like a kind, joyful moment.
And looking at the finale specifically, there's a beautiful scene where Tim is looking at Jackson in the hospital as a newborn, and he starts crying. Jonathan, what did that moment represent for him in your mind?
I feel like I'm going to well up.
Yeah, no, I almost...
Did you feel it?
Yeah, I just did.
Oh.
Yeah.
Sorry, that was a bit of a curveball. I don't think I've grieved it enough.
Yeah, I hear you.
I think it's, there's so much going on there for Tim, but it was the understanding of new life and the innocence of that baby. I think for Tim, maybe, I don't know, maybe he realizes in that moment how corrupted he is, or that he's lost. I don't know. There's something really special about that. And also, I think understanding the new life that has come from Hawk, the commitment that Hawk has made to his life, and that Tim realizes in that moment he absolutely has no place in his life. But also, Hawk has done something to him that is, well, we think he will never be able to move on from. The innocence of new life, to me, feels so important, because it's a study of how oppressive structures corrupt people and, push them further away from their joy and their happiness and their identity. The welcoming of Jackson at that moment is just, I think, an amazing bit of storytelling.
Yeah.
You've got all the right moments. You responded really well to it.
Well, Matt, there's also a great scene for Hawk at the very end with his daughter at the AIDS quilt memorial.
He wasn't my friend. He was the man I loved.
Why was that the right moment to end the series on?
That scene, getting to be amongst real pieces of the quilt, getting to look down at Roy Cohn's real square, that's one of the most profoundly transportive things I've ever experienced in my life. And this whole project for me has always, as every project should feel as an actor, been so much bigger than any one person involved or even the sum of the people involved. It's even bigger than that. And that was one of those moments where I thought, I just have to get out of my own way here and be a part of this story. I don't know why it was the right way for his journey to end, but I think it is the culmination of so many things for him. You see what all the compartmentalization and what all the bifurcation cost him in his life, all in that one scene, his one true, all-consuming love beyond measure. And you see what's left for him. He doesn't have a marriage. He has his daughter, thank God. She's hung on to him and stood by his side, but his love is gone. And here he is, a man just realizing who he is. He's a baby in some ways in his, mid 60s, 63 or so. And he's 64, and he's only just beginning.